the Dirty South Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Eric Lee and Lorenzo Ice-T.
What's going on, Lo?
What's up, E-Lee?
Yeah, another edition of the Dirty South Fantasy Football Podcast. And this week, I'm in studio, not on location, none of that. I'm glad to be back.
Yes, it's good to have you back in studio, man. You can work things properly now.
Yeah, I can get everything going, man.
Get everything in.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the Dirty South Fantasy Football Podcast, where we do this each and every week, Tuesday, right after all of the NFL games have passed over the weekend and Monday night. I'm your host, Eric Lee, and you are?
I am the LIT, the CIT, always on fire. I stay lit for show.
Lorenzo Ice-T in the house. Well, if you're checking us out on Facebook, do us a favor. Hit that like button. If you're checking us out live on YouTube, make sure you hit the notification button. So every time we come on here and give out this good content, you are there. You can see it. Hit the subscribe button when you get an opportunity to. If you're on YouTube, definitely. We love for you to support us in that manner. And we've got a lot to talk about, Lorenzo.
Yes, we have a whole lot to talk about. Great things are happening in the NFL. And I think more than anything else, a lot of fantasy owners are happy that the Bills and the Eagles are off their bye.
Absolutely. Personally, I got a couple of players out there that I'm glad that they will be back this week. It's very important. It's getting close to that time.
Yeah, and of course, we'll be discussing some of the big injuries that happened during this past weekend and what teams should be able to do to be able to get prepared for this upcoming weekend. Of course, Thursday, there is a big game when you have the Ravens and the Buccaneers. Ooh, you talk about clicks and likes. Those two teams get a lot of exposure, a lot of clicks and a lot of likes and a lot of mentions when you're talking Lamar Jackson and Tom Brady.
Yeah, of course. And we've got a special guest supposed to be on the show tonight. We'll see. He's on the West Coast. He says he's going to click in and jump in on the line. But let's talk about some things going on in the NFL right now, man. Something that's close to my heart.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, Matt Ryan. They benched Matt Ryan, man.
I mean, I actually had a chance to because the Miami Dolphins, everything comes back to the Miami Dolphins.
Everything comes back to the Dolphins.
So because the Miami Dolphins had a Sunday night game, I was able to, for the first time, sit back and watch a lot of the games. Mm-hmm. And I had a chance to watch a great deal of this game because I was concerned what was happening with the Indianapolis Colts offense, and why wasn't Jonathan Taylor being used properly. Right. So you can see they're having a lot of issues with their offensive line. Matt Ryan injures his shoulder, and all of a sudden, Wright comes out, and the head coach Wright comes out and says, boom, this guy is the starter, and Matt Ryan has been put to the bench. And it's not necessarily injury related. So we'll have to see what type of effect that will have on the Colts offense. I'm hoping it's for a good thing because I have Jonathan Taylor. He finally kind of showed up a little bit this week. Still hasn't scored any touchdowns in about 4 or 5 weeks. But, I hope the change is good to whatever they do.
Yeah, Ellinger is going to be the quarterback. And I was reading some of the back end on this whole Matt Ryan piece. They said that he's automatically getting $12 million as of today. But if he gets hurt and can't physically perform at the beginning of the NFL league, they have to pay him an additional guaranteed $17 million. So Irsay looked at it and said, hold on. We know we're not going to have him next year. And if he gets hurt, we got to pay that man an additional $17 million on top of the 12 he's already has. So right. I think it was more financial than anything else.
Yeah, because next year he's guaranteed, what is it, 12? Or are you saying $17 million next year?
$17 million.
$17 million for next year. So
and if he got hurt, they wanted to pay him.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. He's going to be with the team for the next 2 years. But I just thought that he was the missing piece. I'm kind of surprised to how poorly they're playing. But, it all starts in the trenches. And if you cannot protect the quarterback and if you cannot run the ball, this is what happens to your team when you had a team that did so well last year and did pretty well in the playoffs. And it felt as if they were just a game manager away from going further in the playoffs when they signed Matt Ryan. And it turns out that it's not going so well. But they need to really address the offensive line, even though this quarterback is more mobile and should be able to extend plays better than Matt Ryan. There's some things with their offense that they need to address, and it starts up front.
Yeah. Going into some more of the NFL news, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah. I didn't actually see the play where he got hurt, but it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with the NFL because of their concussion protocol. We have to call it the Tua Tagovailoa rule because Tua had to wait 24 days before he could get back and play. But it'll be interesting to see if this guy who has a concussion, will he be able to play next week, or will they be able to practice because he was knocked out of the game and it was because of a concussion?
No, you got to check it out. It wasn't a concussion. People are upset about this. It was actually ataxia. It's an abnormally imbalanced stability, modal coordination, or dysfunctional speech caused by a neurological issue. When we play ball, they call getting your bell rang.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a concussion to me. They're just trying to come up with another name. It goes back to Tua. Tua was saying that it wasn't a concussion. Yeah, he passed all the concussion protocol in the Buffalo game, right? He was having issues with his back, but yet and still, they said after he had the concussion in the Cincinnati game that he couldn't come back for another 2 weeks. So what is it? I mean, they're trying to play around with these rules. They're trying to figure out what was right. Kenny Pickett, the quarterback from the Pittsburgh Steelers, had a concussion in last week's game, but he was able to practice throughout the week before he was cleared for concussion protocol. So, I mean, the NFL's got to get it right.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is I was watching one of the programs and they had the gentleman from the Players Association and the NFL said basically that, look, we're not going to sugarcoat it. It's important that the quarterback stay upright. It's important that these guys stay upright because out of 100 shows last year, 91 of them, the top 91 were NFL shows. Or NFL games. So they are going to protect the shield. My question is, as you watch the game and you're playing fantasy football and of course Vegas and things of that nature, if they said he wasn't concussed and he just got his bell rang, because if you get hit hard enough, you're going to have some motor problems. You're going to wiggle a little bit, but that doesn't stop people from playing the game. My question to the folks out there that are taking a look at the show right now, should Amon-Ra St. Brown been ruled out of the game? What do you think?
Yes, because the precedent has been set based on what happened with, it always comes back to the Dolphins, especially we talking about this when they put in the changes to the language within the rule with Tua Tagovailoa, and then the very next week they said, okay, Tua cannot play. I don't think he should have played in that Jets game after what happened to him 10 days prior with the Cincinnati Bengals, but they put Teddy Bridgewater in as the starter. The first play of the game, he gets sacked and he's hit. And then whoever the eye in the sky is, the spotter said he stumbled. So since he stumbled, and after looking at the videotape, we couldn't find Teddy stumbling anyway. But because that guy said he stumbled, he's out for the game. So if you're woozy and you stumbled based on the new language that they put in the NFL protocol when it comes to concussions, if you stumble, you're out of the game.
Yeah.
Period. Regardless of whether or not you get diagnosed with a concussion. If you stumble and the eye sees that, you're out of the game.
Yeah, but you know what? There are a lot of people, that's going to be a lot of folks going into the tent this year.
Hey, I mean, they set the precedent when it happened with Tua Tagovailoa. He got knocked out. And then that next game with Teddy Bridgewater, first play, they say he stumbled when he didn't stumble. And then when he went into the tent, they said he doesn't have a concussion. They put him in concussion protocol, and he was out for the entire game.
The entire game.
And we had to start a rookie. So it was basically 2.5 games where we played with quarterbacks that were not the quarterbacks that started the game, that ended up ending the game up until this past game for the Dolphins and the Steelers. So I keep talking about the Dolphins because this concussion protocol was put in because of what happened to Tua Tagovailoa and so on and so forth.
Well, they're trying to make sure that I'm not mad. They're trying to keep the players safe, but at the same time,
especially the quarterbacks.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, you play the game, you're gonna get hit, you're gonna get woozy. They could probably take out somebody every other series of plays if that's the protocol.
And you know what's happening now? Every time I see a quarterback get hit in the pocket, I'm watching to see how hard his head hits the turf. And that's was the last game the Buffalo played against Kansas City. I mean, Josh Allen's head hit the turf a lot in that game. And he got right up. but Josh Allen is 6'5", 250, 260 pounds.
Right.
So he can kind of take the abuse, but yet and still, based on the momentum and the player, the power, the size of the player that's tackling you will determine how hard your head hits the turf. And if you watch these games, there are a lot of players whose head is hitting the turf quite hard.
Let's talk about some more injuries, man. This gentleman right here, Breece Hall, New York's finest, came into the league, set it on fire, and of course he tore an ACL. He'll be out for the remainder of the season. But with one man's pain, there's somebody's pleasure about to come around talking about the gentleman right there, my main man, James Robinson. Of course, he was traded immediately into New York. You think he's going to start this week?
I don't know. They still have Michael Carter there, but the way that the offense is set up in New York, it's similar to what happened to San Francisco. The offenses are quite similar to a certain extent. And if you see what, oh my God, I forgot his name, McCaffrey did in San Francisco, he was able to play like 20 or 30 plays. They set up a nice little package and he was able to get in. You'll probably see the same thing with James Robinson in the New York Jets offense. And what it showed me, the Jets are 5-2. They're not playing around. When they made that move quickly on the same day that was announced that he was out for the year, they made a signing or a trade for this for the running back from Jacksonville, who was in competition with ATN in the backfield in Jacksonville. I'm surprised that all that the Jaguars got was a 6th rounder for James Robinson. I thought it would have been a lot more.
They got a 6 and a possible 5 if they go to playoffs.
So therefore it can move up, but it's just one pick. It's just one pick, right?
It's one pick.
So I would think James Robinson, and basically with the need that the Jets are in at this particular time, I think you could have gotten at least a 4th rounder for him from the Jets. So, but what it did say is that the Jets are their players and they're trying to do all they can to make the playoffs. But it's important because their winning has been solely based on their running game and being able to run the ball. They've gone with Flacco was the quarterback for a while. Zach Wilson is in there, and he is managing the game well. He's not making mistakes, and the Jets are relying on their defense to win the game. But the thing about the Jets is you have to look at their 7 games. They've only played one quarterback that would come close to being elite. And even that elite quarterback is playing average right now. So you take a look at their wins, they're against all below average quarterbacks. So yes, they're playing well. They're winning these games. But the only quarterback that they've really played was Aaron Rodgers. And we see how Green Bay is playing right now.
Well, the thing about it is they're talking about the defense and how good. I mean, they went out and put a lot of draft capital into their defense. And Sauce Gardner is doing his thing. They say he's the number 1 DB right now in the league. We'll see how that goes.
They played Cleveland. Their quarterback was Jacoby Brissett. They played Pittsburgh. The quarterback was Mitchell Trubisky. They played the Miami Dolphins, and who was their quarterback in that game? A rookie, 7th round, Skylar Thomas.
So you're not gonna give them their props.
I mean, they're winning the games. They're playing the games, and they're winning the games that are on their schedule. Okay. But I want to see, and then last week they beat the backup quarterback to the Denver Broncos. So they're playing a 4th place schedule, and they're beating the quarterbacks that are on that schedule. But they have only seen one elite quarterback or one good quarterback, really, and that was Aaron Rodgers. And we see how bad his receiving core is. So,
yeah, it is pretty bad.
I'm just giving facts.
Yeah,
I'm giving facts. These are facts. I'm not lying. I'm not hating. I'm giving you facts.
You're giving me facts. So we're gonna get back to the NFC East in a minute because I know you like to talk about the NFC East, but right now they're looking pretty good. We'll come back to it.
Come back to it. You move
Somebody else that's having a problem right now, Mike Williams, man, from the I was going to say San Diego, but the LA Chargers, he's out, man, and he's going to be out for a while.
Yeah, the thing about San Diego is that they're losing players. And when is Keenan Allen due to come back?
He's back. He played this week. However, he didn't do much. He didn't do much at all because he was hurt. He's still trying to get back, as well as Justin is, he's still got problems with his ribs. He's still trying to work on his ribs and his throwing.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, the problem is that if the LA Chargers are your team, you've got a mash unit. So you're trying to figure out who in the world can we put in place. The only person that we can think of that's probably going to get those touches is Eckler. Definitely,
he has been getting in last week's show. I was talking about him possibly getting 30 plus fantasy football points in that game. And I played against Austin this week, and he got what? 35 fantasy football points, will end up beating me this past week where I lost by 10. So I'm like, okay, Austin, you couldn't get 35 last week against Denver. You had to get it this week when I'm playing against you. But he is basically the entire offense right now with all the injuries that San Diego has. So I don't understand how teams are not just double teaming him and, taking him away. Take away the key element of their offense, and you could be successful against San Diego right now, especially with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen not being 100%.
And if you are looking for a pickup for that, it's actually Mike Brady. I had to go look for him in the depth chart to find out exactly who this dude is, but he is backing up Mike Williams. So if you're streaming out there looking for a receiver this week, that Justin Herbert, well, actually they're on a bye this week. So you'll have a week to get them back together. But Mike Williams is out for a couple of games. Keenan Allen has an opportunity to heal a little bit. Looks like we got somebody in the house. We've been waiting on him. We're going to bring him in right now. The gentleman that we're about to bring in is the program director for a slew of radio stations out in Phoenix. He's the sports guru himself. I guess I can call him the sports guru. He was once the program director for the radio stations in Atlanta and talking about Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Sean Thompson, how are you, my brother?
You said 5:05. How you 20 minutes into this already?
Hold on. It's 8:17.
You said 5:05.
5:05 your time is what? 8:05 my time.
But then you originally said 5:30.
I don't remember that. Yeah. Anyway, Sean, welcome to the
get it together, man.
Sean.
I saw the email that said 5:05. So I see that.
I think I may have texted him 5:30.
Okay.
So
we got to give him a big round of applause
here, man.
Give him a round of applause.
Yeah, because he won this past week.
Oh
yeah. Yes, he got Boy, he had a hard-fought victory this past week.
Homecoming. It was homecoming for him.
It came down to the wire. Man, we got to do something.
Patrick out the league, man. Can we get Patrick out the league?
We got to do something about that, E. I've been complaining about him since week 2 or 3.
Yeah, you have.
Come on, man. I'm like, look. I mean, he didn't even change his team. He had guys on bye. He had Stafford out there. Gabe. I mean, he's got ballers too. You know what I mean? He got some ballers on that.
He on the West Coast with you.
He ain't got much. He don't have much of a bench, but he's got some ballers in his starting lineup, and it's like, yo, he's 0-7 right now.
Yeah, he's the homecoming game. But before we get into a whole lot with Sean,
homecoming game.
Sean, we got to put you in the hot seat. You ready?
Yep.
Feel the burn. You're in the hot seat inside the Dirty South Fantasy Football Podcast.
Well, Sean, we know you've seen the show before. We got 6 questions. We're going to drop them on you. First thing that comes to your mind. If we say Coke or Pepsi, if Coke is your favorite or Pepsi comes to mind, whatever happens. You ready?
Yep. By the way, it's Biggie over Tupac, but go ahead.
We're not gonna do that today.
No, he said Biggie. So I got to give him a big up for that.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
All right, Sean. White Sox or Cubs?
White Sox.
Okay, Knicks or the Nets?
Nets, man. Don't even ask that question.
Giants or the Jets?
The Jets, Jets. Let's go. 5-2, baby. Let's go.
Facebook or Twitter?
Facebook.
Mets or Yankees?
Say that again.
Mets or Yankees?
Come on, man. You asking these questions, you know the answers.
I
Yankees all day. Nobody's a Mets fan.
I am a Mets fan.
He's a
I
Mets
apologize
fan.
for you, bro.
That's all right.
All right, the last one.
Getting on the bandwagon with all the fans in New York that everyone's a Yankee fan. I got to be.
I know 1986 was a long time ago, bro. I get it, man. I had hair last time they won the World Series, but it's all good.
I got one more. I got one more, Lo.
Saying, I mean, y'all you're embarrassing yourself in these playoffs.
One more.
He's in losses, like Lord. Don't embarrass yourself like that. Go ahead,
The
E.
last one. Can I get my last one in?
Aaron Judge just struck out again.
Oh, hey, last one.
Yeah.
Malcolm or Martin?
What'd you say?
Malcolm or Martin?
Ooh,
Yeah.
Malcolm.
Oh, you militant, man. I hear you.
Yeah, me too.
Congratulations, you are off the hot seat. Let's talk about what you did in the league when we first kicked off this thing. We're gonna go right to the your actual screen of our draft. Your first pick was Cooper Kupp. Not a bad pick.
Oh, good pick.
Not a bad pick at all. You did okay.
It made the most sense there.
Okay.
What made you not pick a quarterback at the time after all the I'm trying to figure, I can't see which position you picked. What number was he, E? I can't tell.
He was right after me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He was number 6.
Oh, number 6. So when did the quarterback run start?
Actually, right after him.
Oh, okay.
Mahomes, Burrow, Prescott, Wilson, Murray.
So yeah, I'd like to know what made you not go with a quarterback when you saw some of the elite quarterbacks go before you.
So I'll say this. I was waiting. I was really high on Trey Lance. I thought that this was going to be a magical season for him. Plus, I was thinking about it from a keeper standpoint. So when I went about drafting him, that was my thought process. Now, it completely blew up in my face, but that was the thought process at the time when I drafted him.
But you still have him though, right?
Yeah, I still have him.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's a keeper league. It's a dynasty league. So he's gonna come around.
Yeah. So you'll have him for next year, definitely. You picked up Joe Mixon and you picked up Ant Jones, so it wasn't a bad. Your draft looked good.
On paper, I was actually very happy with my draft, and then the weeks started happening, and then I was not happy anymore. I will say though, I had 2 weeks, 2 weeks for sure, where I had one of those bad losses where I had a whole lot of points, but just played somebody that had a monster week. So my team's been consistently scoring. It's just having those weeks where I lose to teams that are having better ones. They have a defensive player that gets 40 points or something wild. It's been crazy.
First and foremost, man, I want to thank you for racing home. Let everybody know exactly what you do, Sean.
I am currently the program director for Arizona Sports 98.7 and ESPN 620. So we carry all the teams. And when I say all the teams, we carry Suns, Cardinals, Diamondbacks, Coyotes, Arizona State. We have every team. So it's a lot different than Atlanta.
What are the Coyotes?
Oh, that's the hockey team, NHL team. They're not very good. That's why you probably don't even know who they are. They're not the Penguins. They're awful. But to put them in perspective, they were playing in a major arena with like 15,000, and basically in Glendale, and the city was like, "We don't need you guys anymore." Kicked them out, and now they're playing at Arizona State's newly built hockey arena, which holds 5,000 people. 5,000.
That's good. So
they're going to go from 15,000 to 5,000. It'll probably feel like an intimate event for sure. Their first home game is actually on Friday.
Okay. Good stuff.
But yeah, it's been cool. I think, Atlanta was great. I mean, I loved working with that. I mean, I think that was an amazing experience, but this was an opportunity for a new challenge. I had an assistant in front of my name for a long time, so I don't anymore. So
you're the boss now.
So what's the biggest challenge for doing a sports talk station?
In general or here?
Just in general, yeah.
I think just trying to find your audience. Like, you always know there's going to be hardcore guys that listen to you every day, but it's how do you get those people that like they may turn you on, but you have to find that hook to get them to want to listen to you. In Atlanta, it was easy because we could talk about a lot of other stuff. We could actually talk about entertainment in the entertainment capital. And we're owned by the Church of Latter-day Saints, so we owned by the Mormons. So ain't no Magic City talk here. We can't talk about point spreads. We can't talk about drinking. Like no talk about red solo cups, like none of that. Like we can't do none of that.
Wow.
Whenever you want to come back, man, you're always welcome. But we're going to talk about some more fantasy football. We've been inside of the injury report. We hadn't had an opportunity to talk about David Njoku. He's out. He's gone. That's crazy. Everybody is getting banged up all over the NFL. So what do you think about the loss of Njoku to the offense of Cleveland Browns, of course, without Deshaun Watson too?
The offense hasn't been that potent anyway. I mean, I think that Nick Chubb's has been Nick Chubb, but for the most part, they really haven't been doing a whole lot of big things. Now they were going to Njoku a lot. He had become really a primary weapon for them, so that's a big loss. I'm not even sure who's behind him necessarily on the depth chart, but he was really used because he's one of those tight ends that is almost like a receiver that can really stretch the field. So losing him is going to be a tough loss for them because Jacoby Brissett's more of a intermediate kind of quarterback, not necessarily throwing the ball up over the top as much.
Harrison Bryant. That's the one. That's who's behind him. I know. You don't know who he is either.
No clue.
Depth chart.
I just know his name is Harrison.
Yeah. Jacoby Brissett likes to use a tight end as his security blanket. So, if he could dump it off on the seams, basically that tight end may become valuable if they have any type of chemistry whatsoever. So he could be valuable if he's got any talent and ability, because that's in the range that Jacoby likes to throw the ball.
Yeah. So if you're out and about and you're checking us out right now, if you have any questions, drop it out in the chat for us. We've got Sean Thompson, program director of a bunch of stations, a bunch of stations and a bunch of teams out in Arizona, but formerly out of Atlanta. So he's got some big city experience. He can answer all your questions in sports.
Like that.
And just to let you know, hey, Sean, Lorenzo is actually, he works with the Dolphins too. So we got some sport.
That's why he's a Dolphins fan.
Yeah, well, not because I work with him. I've been a Dolphins fan my entire
Here
we go. He gonna tell me stories about Bob Greasy or whoever.
Yes, I can tell you. I can tell him. It was a beautiful night on Sunday as we celebrated the 1972 perfect season 50-year anniversary. Was really big last night. And of course, Mercury Morris was out there on the field getting the crowd ramped up. And if you were there in the building, it was just beautiful. And Tua came. I can keep going now.
I know we're gonna stop that right now. Let's get back to.
Well, hold on. They haven't been able to do the champagne. They haven't been able to do the champagne toast yet that they do every year when the last team loses.
I am nervous.
Still undefeated.
I am nervous when you look at Philadelphia's schedule.
Yeah,
I am nervous.
Are you really? Are you being sarcastic?
No, it's an easy schedule.
They should. I think they play the Rams. I think it is around week 13, 14. They could be 13-0. If you take a look at the Eagles schedule, and it's like win. Yeah. So based on the way that they're playing. But as we've said before, Eric, it is just, there's a lot of mediocre play in the NFL this year. So it's like you only have, I would say you have three great teams, which is Buffalo, Kansas City, Philly, and maybe you could put Dallas in there. They're playing well. They're not great. But right now I would just say
defensively, Buffalo, they're great.
Yeah,
defensively they are.
But Philly may have just put the game plan out how to handle Michael Parsons, in that game. That game plan. Anyone else? Michael Parsons. Yeah, what they showed that they did to him. That's the blueprint of how to handle him. So you're gonna. It's a copycat league. So some teams are gonna do that for sure.
Go run at him.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about last night? Two quarterbacks. If you got two quarterbacks, you don't have one.
Ooh.
Zappy.
Yeah, it wasn't Zappy hour last night. I think you're right. When you have two quarterbacks and they almost are like the same. They look the same. They play the same.
Oh, they do look alike.
Yeah. They said that. They said that in the game. They were like, it's the same guy.
Yeah. They look exactly alike. I was very disappointed in New England's performance last night. At least on the defensive side of the ball, I expected, for Belichick to come up with a game plan that was going to be able to slow down their running game. I was really surprised to see how well Chicago played in that game. So I
want to give Justin Fields credit too, because I'm probably one of the most Justin Field haters out there, but he had it all working last night, passing and running the ball.
Yeah.
What I've seen from him so far, because all my friends that are Bear fans want to give me excuses, blame it on the offensive coordinator. I've seen that guy make some horrendous decisions with the football, but he was not doing that last night.
Yeah, and New England had played 2 straight games where their defense had shut down Detroit and someone else prior to that. They played very well, so I was assuming that they'd be able to do well on what was it, Monday Night Football, but they did not. So they're at the bottom of the AFC East right now.
We're going to backtrack a couple of slides because, Sean, what do you think about that?
I think the Atlanta Falcons proved how smart they were by getting rid of him.
Wow.
The only team smarter is the Seattle Seahawks at this point. But
they look. Seattle looks so smart.
We've seen it after the MVP season. It's been downhill every year. And not being able to throw the ball deep to Julio, to just being a sitting duck in the pocket. He looks really uncomfortable, and he looked uncomfortable when he was with the Falcons. And he was checking the ball, throwing a bunch of short passes. He's not even doing that in Indianapolis. He's missing everything. The interceptions he threw, did you see those on Sunday?
The pick six. Okay, but that pick six, was that Matt Ryan's fault, or was the wide receiver's fault not picking up on the hot read?
I don't know, but I don't think you throw that ball at all. Like, I don't see why he threw that at all. Like, he's made some decisions that I've just been very shocked by somebody who is cerebral and smart as him. It just almost feels like he's so nervous back there that he's just getting rid of the ball.
Yeah, and doesn't want to get hit.
And that was the thing with the Colts. They were supposed to have this next level offensive line, and they've been getting worked.
Yeah, it's falling apart.
Oh yeah. So Lorenzo and I have been going back and forth about this, talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown. They pulled him out of the game. They said he wasn't concussed after it was all said and done. They said he suffered from anorexia, which is basically woozy or getting your bell rang. Lorenzo says and I get it, because of what happened to
Tua.
100%. But are we going to do this with every player to get the bell rung?
I mean, it's been happening for the last few weeks. He's not the only one. There was a lot of people that checked out because of concussions on Sunday. He wasn't the only one. There was a few people that checked out of the games. I can't think of all the people off the top, but it seems like ever since then, every week, I've never seen as many people checked out for concussions that I've seen. Like, they're not even taking any chances. They are putting you on because they don't want that smoke from the players. If somebody ends up going back, they don't want another Tua situation. Right. They don't need that. So they'd rather err on the side of caution, and that's why they put that rule out and said, like, hey, like, if once those signs are there, you're out.
That's what now we're showing, and I put that up on the screen. Ataxia is an abnormally imbalanced stability, motor coordination, or dysfunctional speech caused by neurological issue.
So he was
like a bell rung.
It sounded like he stumbled.
Yeah, like he stumbled, man.
He stumbled. That's it.
I mean, Tua was looking like he was doing the stanky leg when he fell in that first game. So I
get Tua. I get the whole Tua thing, but you're gonna get wide receivers, running backs, DBs. I mean, I got my bell rang. What is smelling salts?
This ain't 1978, man.
That was 85. That was 85. That was 85.
He's trying to bring out Jack Tatum and
right.
And who else? And
Nick Buckles ain't walking through that door, bro.
Yeah, it's
not cutting his finger off the play. It's different times now.
What part of New York you from, Sean? Let Lo know, because I know y'all close to each other.
No, I'm Jersey, man. I'm Central Jersey.
Oh, Central Jersey?
Yeah.
He's from up top. He's from up top.
Okay, all right.
So when you're not in New York City or the vicinity, it's all about being from up top. New York, New Jersey, don't matter. You know what I mean?
Right.
Y'all all playing each other.
There's no New Jersey television station. All my TV stations are all NBC 4, Fox 5, ABC 7. So that's all I had. So if it was going on in New Jersey, I didn't hear about it on the news. But if it was going on in Brooklyn, I did.
Right. That's what's up.
Well, man, this was quick, of course. We always run through these real quick. Sean, tell everybody how they can find you on social media since you're on the West Coast, the left coast now.
You can't, because I don't do social media.
Dude, you're the second guy. You're the second player. You're the second owner this week. I mean, this month that said he does not do social media. Carl said the same thing last week.
Yeah, but see, Carl's lying. But I'm not. I don't do social media at all. But if you want to follow some great Arizona sports, you can go to arizonasports.com or at Arizona Sports on all the social media platforms.
Okay. All right. And Lo, how can they find you, brother?
Well, they can find me first and foremost on Star 94.5, Monday through Friday, 3 to 7 p.m. And also you can find me on Hot 105, Saturday nights from 6 to 10 p.m. My Instagram is Lorenzo Ice T, and that's ICETEA on Twitter, at Lorenzo Thomas, Facebook, Lorenzo Thomas, and Eric, you can do the rest.
Hey, yeah, you can find me on all platforms at Eric Lee, the actor.
That's right.
I do a little bit of acting. And you can catch me doing a little digital radio at the 100 Hip Hop and R&B FM on our Odyssey app. Yeah, I'm doing that too. Yeah.
When's the next time I'm going to see you on the TV, man?
Well, actually, if you were in Georgia, you'd see me pretty much the fourth quarter. I did a commercial. I got it. For the folks that this is going to be funny because we can probably cut this later on, but I posted something on Facebook about my wife, my daughter, and my son.
I saw that.
That was about that was my acting family on for the shoot that day. It was a commercial that we shot.
Right.
So I hashtagged it Actor's Life, Set Life. What am I doing now? I've got about 300 people that congratulated me on my family.
Hey, real talk. I thought it was too. I didn't make a comment though. I just saw the picture and I was like, oh, okay, I know that's how Ely was rolling. I didn't know.
Look, hey, Sean, some of my family members they were like, congratulations. I was like, I would have invited you to the wedding.
Right.
But I didn't go back and respond. I'm just gonna play the commercials, and so people can see. It's like he didn't get married. That was fake. But
is that the commercial with the baby in the crib?
Oh no! You haven't seen it.
One.
Oh,
okay.
You got to see it. I got a wife.
Okay.
I've got a daughter, and I've got a son now. It's a modern mixed family. So when people looked at it, they were like, great family, beautiful family. And I was like, did they not read that part where it says set life, actor's life?
You know, people don't be reading.
well, let me ask you this. Did they really think you were a judge?
No. They know I wasn't a judge, but so yeah,
they won't
we'll edit this portion for YouTube. But yeah, people weren't paying attention, so it's okay, and we love you anyway.
Yeah, and I mean they're approaching the season. Well, actually, the finale for Queen Sugar in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think they're showing it. It's on. Actually, I think it's on right now, so I know I'm gonna check that out. They got a few episodes left. Of course, I bring that up because Eric played a priest.
Yeah, I played in that too. So
did they think you were a priest?
I was a priest.
And they didn't think you were a priest, but
I'm sure they knew I wasn't a priest. I want to thank everybody for checking us out. This was bonus footage tonight that had nothing to do anything about football, but just we had to say it. We had to say something about it.
That's
We'll see you guys next week. Next Tuesday, we'll do it all over again on the Dirty South Fantasy Football Podcast. Thank you, Sean, for showing up. Lorenzo, we'll talk, and Sean, hold on for
pleasure to meet you, man. Pleasure to meet you, dog. All right.